Does anybody on the call find themselves challenged at all in getting reviews from their clients, even when you ask for them? Yes, no, Randy, any, yeah, okay, right. Can't say everybody now. Darren, right? I think it happens to all of us that we've closed a deal. Now we all know that the best time to get the review maybe is right before closing or at the closing table, but if it's like a lot of way things go in life, people are really busy. And so it's hard to pin them down for it. So here's the process that we're going to be building into kind of a workflow. Right now, it's still going to have some manual. Well, this process will always have some manual capacity to it, but we're going to automate kind of the second half of it. And what I can promise you is that if you'll take this process and use it, it will absolutely generate business for you. It'll absolutely create new business for you. So it's going to do much more than just help you get a really quality review. So I talked about in Florida at EXPCon from stage why getting quality reviews are really important because we're seeing it happen in real time right now, right? Search is going AI. We saw in the last, was it the last 2 weeks, ChatGPT came up with Search GPT. There's even now a Chrome plugin that you can replace and make GPT your primary default search engine in Chrome and not even search on Google anymore. And we're going to see AI searches become more and more the norm, and Google is doing it as well. We talk about this a lot in our webinars. I did a webinar just before this call, and I spent a few minutes talking about AI search and how Google is going to start using its own information, its own data. The difference between a search done by just as we do it today to get results versus a search done with AI is quite simple. That when you search with right now on a search engine, you get results, a list of results, a list of websites, a list of links. When you have an AI powered search, you get an answer to the question. So if I search best real estate agent in Denver, Colorado, right, I'll get an answer. Dion is the best agent in that particular marketplace because, right, and it will look at his information. It'll look at information on Dion, and where will it look? Google always looks to its own platform. It'll look to its own reviews. It'll look to the content on Google Business Profiles. This is why Google really works hard. This is why it's in right now. Dion's in Google jail, so to speak. We're going to get him out. But this happens because Google is aggressive at defending its trust as a trust platform, right? Google wants to make sure that there's no just like spoof businesses out there, so to speak. I mean, we see it all the time, right? I mean, how many emails do we get from banks verifying transactions? I mean, Facebook verifying your account. We see it all the time. So for Google, it goes to great lengths. Sometimes, at our detriment, when we're trying to do something legitimate, we get stuck in their web of them trying to protect their trust. And the reason they do that is because they know that they have to maintain the integrity of their platforms because that's what they're going to use to start delivering better and better search results. And they're going AI search as well. They're using Gemini as their search engine, that's their AI, and they'll start delivering answers as well. And they're going to look to their platforms to compile these answers. So a great example of what AI search looks like right now is if you go to Amazon and you search for a particular product that you might be shopping for. Today I held up this pen at the webinar, right? If you search for a rollerball pen, you might find a review for this particular, whatever it's called, Netstream, right? Rollerball pen. And people say what they like about it. It doesn't smear, ink dries quickly. It's good for left-handed people. I'm a lefty, so I tend to smear ink if I write with it, right? They like that it's a good price point, et cetera, et cetera. And it's getting that information by reading 3,000 reviews. So instead of you scrolling through 3,000 reviews, it's putting the AI review, so to speak, the compilation, at the very top. And that's what Google is going to go to when it delivers search results. And it's going to happen in the local search space as well. When you search for results for local businesses, it's going to look at the local results and the local reviews and what people say about you and how they talk about you, and the type of content that you create. And that's why Google wants to determine, is it authentic content? And that's why just plain cookie cutter content is not going to get highly valued by Google. So it wants authenticity and it wants really good reviews. So this is why it's important. So now, so here's going to be, let me kind of explain the process to you. I don't have slides for this. I'll share my screen in a couple of minutes and show you how I use the tools that I'm going to lay out for you. But here's what we're going to do. So we're going to start with, just like we always start with, we know who we should be calling. We can go back through our database and clients that we've done transactions with, right? Clients that we've closed sales with. So buyers and sellers, going to go back as far as we can have access to. We're going to compile all the people that have not given us a review. And honestly, even if they've given you a review, you're going to put them on the list to make the calls. Okay. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is to reach out to each one of those people and make a phone call. And you're going to explain to them that, my name is Mike Weisman. You remember me from the transaction. It's been a few years. Hope you do remember me. I'm not that memorable, but we closed a nice help you buy a property a few years back. And it went really well. I have my notes here. And how have things been going? You can apologize. I'm so sorry. I kind of fell out of touch. Life moves such a rapid pace today. How are things going? And talk to them, connect with them genuinely on a human level, right? The Ford family, occupation, recreation dreams. Spend a couple of minutes getting back in rapport with those individuals, with those people. And then say, look, the reason I really wanted to call, what kind of prompted me to, is I really enjoyed working with you. And I'm really working right now. One, I want to stay in much better communication with the people I've worked with in the past. And I'm making that effort right now, that commitment. And two, I really want to collect stories of people that I've worked with, the successes. And I'd love to just ask you, I have on the phone right now, if you have 2-3 minutes, I'd love to ask you a few questions about what it was like when you worked with me, the transaction, where you were before, what the process was like, and how the outcome was. And while you're doing that, in the background right now, I'm going to run a digital voice recorder just between you and me. Not going to get broadcast anywhere. I'm not saving video, not recording this to put onto the radio, anything like that. Not your voice, just a digital note taker. And then when we're done with the conversation, I'm going to take the digital note taker and have my digital assistant craft that into a couple 100-word or 150-word summary, a review, if you will. It'll be your words. And then I'd love to just send you a link to my Google page and this condensed version of your words. Just please ask you to copy and paste it onto the Google as a review. Would you do that for me? Now, most everybody you call is going to say yes, right? Because here's what I know about getting reviews. There's a couple of friction points. One is just the fact that as agents, it'd be challenging for us to be reaching out to them and stay in touch. We're busy. So, Ben's automated system that we have in the setup and going big helps with that, and it will send the request out. That's certainly a useful part of it. The other friction point, though, is that when you send a link, even when your seller or buyer is ready to do it, when they click that link, they're staring at a blank screen, a blank page, and they have to write something. Okay, so even if it's only a sentence or two, people get writer's block, right? Copywriters get writer's block. I have spent years as a copywriter. I have writer's block when I sit down on a blank page sometimes to write something, a blog post, a script, something. We all get it. If I get it, everybody gets it, right? Because I've written hundreds and hundreds of my days as a copywriter, probably 350 television commercials, 30-second spots I've written. So I know what it's like to stare at a blank page. It's not easy. And for them, it's just as hard. So this takes care of that. You've spoken to them. You've used the digital voice recorder, and I'll show you which one we use for this. We'll even do a quick demonstration of it. You've had the AI crafted into their words, a summary. You've copied it. You've pasted it into an email. This is where the automation part will come in. When Ben incorporates this, you'll be able to send that to them with the link. They'll be able to copy and paste it and drop it into the view. A couple of things are going to happen. One, you're going to get a near 90% success rate with getting reviews, right? Because you're going to have the written, the AI generated review right in front of you. You're gonna have the recording of them. You can't miss, right? Maybe 100% of them don't get posted on Google because they never click the link. That will still happen, but you will still have their words, and you can still use that on your website, on your blog posts, right? You can still use that words with an attribution to them. We want to get it onto the Google platform and maybe onto other platforms as well, but you'll have at least their words to use for that. But a second thing will come out of this, which I know, and this is the part that is going to be harder to quantify. But I promise everyone on this call, anyone who does this, is watching this, the recording of this, when you start making these calls, what I know is that anytime you get into a conversation, right, with a previous buyer or seller, and you have that conversation, you're going to get business, right? We all know this. Calling our past clients, calling our sphere, right? I don't like you calling them past clients. I like calling them clients that we've done business with, right? We'll get new business because you'll incorporate into that conversation at the end, thanking them. And at that point, it's very easy to say, thank you so much. I'm going to get this right out to you. In fact, you can even offer them a gift card for their time. That's up to you, right? Nice little thoughtful gift or something on Starbucks, perhaps. But at the end, you can certainly conclude. And by the way, is there anybody that you know that perhaps might be looking to buy or sell? Because I still have buyers that are looking, and sellers that are coming to market. So is there anybody that we should be in touch with? And you will absolutely get 1 or 2 referrals every time you sit down to make the phones, to do these calls. So it'll be putting you in touch with your sphere. It'll be getting reviews from your sphere in their words, and it will get reviews that are of a level that would not otherwise be possible. And we'll see why in a second, because I would give you the questions to ask these folks when you're on the phone with them, and the AI will be able to create a well-crafted review in great detail that shows the problems that they had, the solutions that you brought, and the positive outcome, such that when someone searches now in your market for the best real estate agent, when Google looks at your reviews, it'll have specifics, things. It won't just say, Randy's a great agent. I'd recommend them to all my friends, which is most reviews say stuff like that, which is great, but doesn't really give you any reason why or because. It's the because that Google wants, right? I recommend to all my friends because we got into a tough situation. We almost didn't close. And if it wasn't for Randy being able to make a last minute high pressure negotiation when, there was a problem with the inspection and we thought it was all going to fall apart, Randy got a concession from the sellers and made it all happen for us. That's why we're here in our house today. That is a good review. Okay. So any questions up until this point? Can you see kind of the leverage this will give you, the power this will give you, right? And also the ease of it, right? It definitely is not, it requires human interaction, right? So it's not going to scale the way you can just take 100 names and drop them into the review platform, which we have now, and it'll bullet them out and remind them. But it will get you higher quality reviews, and it will also generate you business. So a lot of times we want to do things efficiently that won't necessarily scale, but that's okay because but it will give us a huge return on the time that we invest into doing it. Okay, so everyone kind of on the same page, tracking with me? Okay, good. So I'm going to share with you now some of the tools that I use to accomplish this. And honestly, it's fairly simple. So some of you are probably using it right now. Right now there's a Fathom note taker in here that Ben uses. He likes that. Darren's also a Fathom user, I see. We got 2 Fathoms. So my note taker is Otter. Anybody using Otter? Otter.ai. So let me pull this up here. I'm going to share my screen. Now, I don't have a preference over Fathom versus Otter. I'll tell you, when I was at EXPCon earlier, at the end of, about 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, a little over 2 weeks ago. I was at the leadership breakfast with Glenn. We're all on small tables. Glenn Sanford, our CEO of World Holdings, and this is with the leadership council. We were having round robin discussions, So Glenn happened to be at my table, and Glenn the whole time had his phone out on the table with Firefly running AI, and he was recording everything in the room with Firefly and Firefly, another AI note taker, and he's using that. He took all the input from all the national, regional, and the regional councils and the national council. He'll upload it, and the plan is to upload it into a AI note taker. Look for common threads, different suggestions that we all made, and so this is being done now. I use AI note taking for everything. Almost every important conversation, business related, that I have, if I remembered, I started an AI note taker. Sometimes I forget and don't run it at the beginning, but I have AI note takers in almost every conversation that's important that I want to go back to. So let me share my screen.
Michael, that's the one thing
Yep.
I don't think Fathom actually does that. I don't
That's
think you can put
it's
on your phone, do that.
correct. That is why that is why Darren and I haven't used it. Only the only reason why I'm not, I said I have nothing, I have no horse in the race, and I have no, like, I think they all do about the same things. I think they're all basically using an API of either of ChatGPT or what's the other one, or Claude.
So does Otter, will when it goes into like a Zoom meeting, will it record video and everything
Oh
else
yeah,
too?
it does. Yeah, I think the features, I think arguably some of them may have better features. Like I could have Otter join this meeting right now with a link, no problem. Records the video, records the speakers, does the summaries. I think they're all very much on par with each other. And I think maybe Fathom or Firefly may be ahead in some areas for like collaboration, things like that. So I don't have a horse in the race, and I don't know. I just know what works for my system here. So when I click right over here, I'm gonna show you how this works. I'm clicking on new recording here. I just do have to change one thing here. So I'm on headphones right now. I don't think it'll record because I'm on headphones. But I'm gonna go off of headphones. Let me just switch this up here real quick. Change my audio settings on Zoom. Just I'm gonna stop the screen share for a second just so I can go back to the audio settings. And let me go speaker, display speakers, audio. I'm gonna keep the same. Okay. Here, speakers, and I'm gonna add this to sound, speakers. Okay. Okay, you guys can still hear me, right? Yeah, okay. So I just took the headphones off, so now I can hear coming from the give me a sound check there, someone. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Check, check,
Yeah,
check.
that's what I wanted. Darren, good. I can hear you. Perfect. Okay. So because I make most of my phone calls from my computer. I'm talking to you right now. I have a Mac Studio Pro over here. To my left, I have my older computer is a iMac 27, and then over there I have a laptop, a MacBook Pro. So that's my kind of my setup, three computers. Um, but the only reason but so I'm always making phone calls. This is almost always my mic, and I'm calling from different applications. But even when I'm dialing from my phone, right, my iPhone, right, and I think Android may have something similar if there's any Android users on here. But if you click a phone number on your computer, it'll dial from your phone. It'll dial your phone. You can make the call from your computer. That's how I make all my calls. Okay. And occasionally if I'm in high level, using high level to call, then I have the dialer from there. But I'm almost always on a speaker with this microphone using to have a conversation. Now occasionally I get calls on the phone too, and it works exactly the same way. That's what I want to be clear. It's recording room audio. It's not recording directly from the Zoom. That's the point I want to make, is that if I'm talking, I'm always on a speakerphone, on either on the phone or kind of a speakerphone, if you will, from the computer. Okay.
And so where do you have Otter at then? Is it on your computer or is it on
Yeah,
your phone?
that's going to show. It's on my computer, right? So I'm at my
Right.
desk.
So if you're out and about in the field and you're driving somewhere, you're not going to be able to record that phone call if a
Correct.
client
That's going to be
calls you.
different. So I think there's ways to do that, but I haven't figured that out. It doesn't happen to me often, Darren. Um, there are recorders that you can go get your, but to get them in progress conversations, I'm not aware of an app. There's apps on the iPhone and Android that you can bring in, you can conference in a recorder, but it's a little bit tedious. I think, Darren, if I was in that situation where I found myself on the road a lot, taking calls on the road, I probably would get that thing called like a Plaud, Plaud, which is not that expensive. You might have seen they're a couple $100, and they actually like a credit card. It sticks to the back of your phone, or they have a thing that you clip on your and you wear it. It's called Plaud, Plaud, and it just records AI, and it does exactly what these otters and fireflies do from anything and anywhere. So since I'm doing 90% of my calling, maybe 95 from my desk, this works. And I think if you're calling your clients for these types of reviews, you're going to do it in this way anyhow. So you'll do it in a way where you can do the record the audio. So let me share my screen again. Go back to the screen share. Okay. So you're looking now at an otter. And these are all the recordings I have here. Then you'll see I have hundreds of them. I mean, there's multiple ones a day, right? And a lot of these are agents that I'm talking to in process of recruiting or attracting over, or they're buyers or sellers that I'm speaking with, and any combination of that. So you over here at the top right, you can see on my screen, you click record, and I'm going to call it right now a new recording. It now says microphone is in use. Now I'm still talking on the microphone, which is right here, which is the USB mic to this computer. So the computer is still able to hear me through. And what you're seeing is in real time, it's transcribing. Now it will make mistakes in real time. It generally goes back and fixes them. It gets about 90, 95% good. Certainly, after the AI finishes with it, it's closer to 100%. Okay, so let's do a quick role play here. And let's someone who wants to be a past client. I have a
I
volunteer.
will.
All right, Darren, past client. Let's say you're a seller that we sold a listing we closed on recently. Okay. Um, people coming in there. I don't know if I can see them on the screen share. I don't want to leave them in the waiting room, but it'll be okay. Let me see if I see get the participant thing up here.
You can make
Participant.
me a co-host. I can let them
Yeah.
in.
Let me I'll do that if I can. Isaac Moore. There you go. I made you a co-host. Okay. Perfect. I don't let people out in the cold. Okay, so Darren and I are going to role play. Okay, so I'm calling Darren. So ring ring.
Hello,
Hey
Darren.
Darren. Hey Darren. Mike Weisman. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Hey, did I catch you at a bad time? You got just about 2 minutes for me.
No, I got a couple minutes.
All right, perfect. Listen, the reason I wanted to give you a call, just wanted to check back in. It's been, gosh, about 6 months now since we closed on the home. I wanted to hear how things were going, how you and the family were making out or out there in Oregon now since you made the move from Montana. And then, blah, 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 blah. Okay. We'll have a conversation. Um, and Darren, listen, I want to, would you do me a favor? I'm really working hard to build my Google profiles, my reviews, my online reviews. I know it takes a lot of work to ask clients to type things up and write things up. Could we have like just a 2 minute conversation right now? I'll ask you a few questions, and I'm gonna run a digital note taker in the background. Okay, it won't go out to the public. Your voice won't be used. No video, just a digital note taker. And then I'm going to take that digital note taker and use a digital assistant to summarize the answers to your questions, put it into a easy format, your words. I'm going to shoot you an email with the link to the Google, ask you to read it over. It'll be your words, cut and paste it in there, and that'll be fantastic. And I'd love to, why don't you do that? Buy you a cup of coffee as a say thank you. Would you do that for me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Excellent. So look, here's what I want. The first thing I want to do is just tell me before we met. Okay. Before we met, you had tried to sell your house a few times. I know that I recall you've been on the market. Tell me what had been going on before we started working together.
Well, I didn't really get very many showings. I don't think that the the other realtor really kind of knew how to do a lot of different kinds of marketing and so forth. And
Mhm.
um, you know, and then they would call me at the last minute and say, "Oh, can we, have somebody over there in 15 minutes?" And I was just like, no, you have to give us some notice.
Mm,
And so it seemed like it was a difficult process to get
mm.
people in and see the house.
Okay, great, great. Okay. So now when we first met, I think I had kind of called you, right? And asked you if you're still looking to sell the property, and expressed the interest, and we had that first meeting. What was the experience like when you started working with my team and I?
Yeah, it seemed like it was a lot more seamless. You guys you guys kind of knew what you were doing, and
Hmm.
I know that we set together a schedule that we could follow, and you guys pretty much stayed on it. And it seemed like you guys did a better job of using the different platforms to advertise the property because we got a lot more calls on it, a lot more business
Hmm.
interest.
Hmm. Excellent. And once we were under contract, right? What was the process like? Explain to me, like from the point of view of communication, the negotiations. How was the process once we actually got you under contract?
Yeah, I mean, you guys were right on top of it. You guys are always walking me through every step. You kind of gave me an idea of what was going to happen and the
Mm,
time sequence of when it was going to happen.
mm,
Uh, and there were a couple little hiccups here and there, but you guys
mm,
addressed them right away. And
mm.
you
Yeah.
guys were good at meeting with the different people that were involved, like the title company, the lender,
Mm,
um, getting the appraisal, all that kind of stuff done.
mm. Great, great. And if you recall at the end, when the buyers looked like for a second there they were actually going to walk away from us, right? Talk to me a little bit about that, about how they, wanted that last minute kind of change, repairs, and it was already out of inspection. And just talk about how we handle that.
Well, you guys are really good at negotiating, getting the concessions done and,
Mm,
making sure that it was beneficial for everybody. And, at the end of the day, we wanted to have a buyer and a seller transaction go through, and you guys
mm,
helped facilitate that. So it was a good
mm.
deal.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. And tell me where you are now. I mean, now that once you got the property sold, tell me how life is,
Well,
since.
I'm living on a sailboat in Puget Sound.
uh, cool. So overall, if you had to summarize in a sentence, like, the experience working with us, what would it be?
Yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would recommend you again.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate it. I'm gonna hit pause on the recorder right now. Okay, I'm actually doing that right. I'm hitting pause. Then I did is I hit pause down here. You guys can see me. I'm gonna say, Darren, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use a digital note taker and digital AI, and I'm just gonna have the AI summarize what you said. I'm gonna send you over a link with a summary. Super easy, cut and paste. The work is done, and then I'll be watching for that, and it just means a lot to me. So I really thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Okay. And by the way, I've still got so many buyers and sellers looking for stuff. Do you know, by any chance, know anybody looking to buy or sell a property? And if they start talking, hit the resume button. Okay, because I'm telling you, the digital note taker is like unbelievable, right? So this will get you into conversation with buyers and sellers, right? And what I know from being a team leader and coaching and training agents, all over the country is that if I can do one thing for an agent, it's find reasons for you to speak to people. Because if I can get agents speaking to people, especially people that like you, you're going to get business. And so not only are you going to get incredible quality reviews out of this, you're going to get business, like now business. Okay. So we've done that with Darren. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to label this. It says note now title. I'll hit the stop button here. Just it'll give me like a hit the browser until it's finished. So it's going to go like that. And then it says, I can ask questions now on the chat, but I'm going to close that. I'm going to call this right now. I'm going to do it. Just put up Darren. Let's see. All right, okay, right? As it right, great. Seller review. So it goes in there. Okay. Now, so here's the transcript. Okay. Now, as a general rule, this does what most other digital note takers do is it creates a transcript. And here's the summary. It'll take a few minutes to create a summary and a transcript, right? So you can do a couple things from here on this pro platform. One, over here on the right, it says ask AI questions or chat with your teammates. So I actually can go right over here and ask this a question, ask it to give me a summary, or write me a review. I find it's okay, but you can do much better if you use ChatGPT. So it's like a two-step process. So here it is. Here it's filled everything in, right? Um, and now see it knows the speaker's name. So if you want to get, I don't bother with this too much because I just know who I'm talking to. But you actually could tell it that was Darren Isaac. I could actually label his name. I can add a speaker in here, right, and say that was Darren, you know, Isaac, right?
Mhm.
And it will tag it, and it will actually go through and tag Darren all the way through. Takes a couple minutes, it rewrites it. But what we're gonna do is what I do is from here is I go to this little copy link up here, click link. Oh, I'm sorry, not copy link. I go to share. What is this share? No, I go to here, three dots. Okay. I go to so let me get this right. I go to the three dots over here, and it'll take a second to get ready to do this. Let me just go back over here into the summary here. It's going to be an option to download it. There it goes. Okay, export. It just takes a second. So you see, I go to the three dots, export. Boom. Text is all I need. It'll show speaker's name, so it shows me an example of what it's going to export. Back and forth, back and forth. And I'm just going to have it. I'm not going to do takeaways. I'm not going to have it do an audio. Just want the transcript. I'm going to export that. So now it's been exported to a text file. Okay, there it is right there. It's opened up. It just exported a transcript as a text file. Okay. Now I'm heading over to my executive assistant here, also called ChatGPT. And I'll share this with you before we finish up here today. And I'll open up ChatGPT, and this is what I can help you with. So I have already written, and I'll share with you the prompt and even the GPT. I have created a GPT for this. So I go to Explore GPTs. Remember, GPTs are things, we're going to have a whole class on this. GPTs are things that you create in ChatGPT that you train to do one thing that you do more than once. So you train it, and I go to my GPTs, and here is a review generator. I click on it. This review generator helps you craft a review from a conversation with a past client. There's one prompt. Please upload or paste the client conversation. Okay, so I go to my thing here. There it is right here. I take it and I drag it in there as a text file. I don't need to prompt it anymore because I've already created the prompt. This is a work in progress. So let's see if I finished it. I don't recall where I got with the GPT. Here we go. Okay. And I'll read it back to you here. Okay. So it says, I can't say enough about how great this team was in selling my home. Before we met, I tried a few times to sell another realtor, but got almost no showings and little support. In the beginning, Michael and his team were incredibly organized. They set a schedule, handled the marketing across different platforms, and brought in a lot more interest than I'd seen before. Throughout the entire process, they kept me informed and explained every step. Then a few small issues popped up. They handled them immediately, including negotiating last-minute requests from the buyers. We appreciate their ability to negotiate in a way that worked for everyone. Now I'm settled in my new town, and I couldn't be happy with the way everything turned out. I'd absolutely recommend them to anyone looking to sell. Now you can ask ChatGPT to expand this to say a little more about that, contract it a little more. I could say, you know what? I liked what Darren said about the sailboat. So let me say this. Include a little bit about Darren talking about living on the sailboat now. And just okay. Remember, ChatGPT's never insulted me. Doing something right the second time, right? Thanks to their hard work, I'm now living on a sailboat, a dream come true. I couldn't be happy with how everything turned out, but absolutely recommend them to anyone looking to sell. I could say, okay, expand this by about 30% with a little more detail that would be most appropriate for another potential seller evaluating my services. Okay, again, that's you see how I'm thinking to speak to ChatGPT. I'm thinking of it as a skilled copywriter. And I gave it a little bit of primer there. So on a little longer review. Here we go. Let's read this one. Can't say enough about how incredible this team was in selling my home. Before meeting Michael, I had tried selling with another realtor, but had almost no showings and little support. Previous agents seemed unprepared and struggled with marketing, leaving me feeling like my property was going unnoticed. Michael and his team, on the other hand, were incredibly organized from day one. They set a clear schedule. They actually followed, marketed the property across multiple platforms. And almost immediately, we started seeing a lot more interest in showings. Throughout the process, they were excellent communicators. They walked me through each step, explaining to expect, addressing any small issues right away. Even when buyers made last-minute requests, Michael's team handled negotiations smoothly, making sure the deal remained beneficial to both sides. Now, thanks to their hard work, I'm living my dream on a sailboat. I'd also recommend them to any seller looking for a professional results-oriented team. Good review. Okay.
Mhm.
You think if you sent a request for a review, you get something like that, just cold? You might from like a 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, someone that's a real copy, someone that's a real in a creative, good mood and just used to writing, but you wouldn't otherwise. Now, Darren and I arguably we made it up, we role played it, we were just basically, making it up. You'll know about the deals. You'll know about what went on. You'll know some of the pain points. And I want you to,
This is an actual real scenario though that I had with a seller
yeah.
when I came in to sell their home, and the previous realtor didn't show the house, didn't know how to do the marketing. They just did they were lazy. They were a lazy realtor, and I
Hmm.
came in, and within, I think it was like 90 days, we got a full price offer, sold the house, and they were happy as punch.
There you go. So that it's that exactly. So I want you to think about now as you can start making the calls back to your previous clients, your previous buyers and sellers. Like I said, I hate using past clients because I think it puts it's a frame, it's a mindset. There are clients. You saw them in the supermarket, you wouldn't say, "Hey, there's one of my past clients." You say, "There's my client whose house I sold or who I helped get into their first home." So you'll know specifics about the situation and you'll be able to ask that. But the general framework is what was going on before, what was the process like during, and where are you now? That's a general framework for a good um, review or a good testimonial. And don't worry about the structure at all. If you want to go back and ask a question about something that they started with, didn't kind of thought they didn't finish, don't worry about that because the AI will take care of that. And then you simply just copy this. You click copy, right? And you paste it into an email with the links. Now, again, I'm Ben at the beginnings. This Ben is going to automate this, so you can literally open up an automation and send it to them with the link from the high level platform. That's in progress in the works. I've kind of given that directive. So it might be a little while, but don't wait to start talking to people. This is the fourth quarter. Get into conversations, right? And honestly, even if you can't get it onto Google right away, these are also posts for you in your Google local profile, your business profile. Okay. They're case studies, right? Look at them that way, right? And if you get permission to use their photo and their picture, some of them might say, sure, I'm happy to be a kind of a case study for you. So if you do the work for them, they'll, be usually happy to comply with you on it.